Has anyone ever pondered why goalkeepers are the only ones allowed to use their hands in football? Maybe it's because they're the misunderstood artists of the game. Or maybe it's just because they weren't good enough to play outfield. Either way, today we're diving into the top 10 goalkeepers of all time. And no, we're not talking about those who have mastered the art of timekeeping. Kicking off at number 10, we have Pat Jennings. This Northern Irish chap was so good that he could probably have saved the Titanic. He played for both Arsenal and Tottenham, which of course makes him the Benedict Arnold of North London. Sliding into ninth place, it's Gordon Banks. Now, Banks was so good that they named a financial institution after him. He won the World Cup with England in 1966, and his save against Pelé in 1970 is still talked about today. Yes, that's right, he's the guy who made Pelé look human. Eighth place goes to Sepp Maier, a one-club man who spent his entire career at Bayern Munich. He was so good that the club didn't need a backup keeper. Just kidding, they had one, but he probably spent most of his time fetching Maier's coffee. In seventh place, we have Peter Schmeichel. This Danish giant was so imposing that strikers would rather shoot themselves than face him. He won everything there was to win at Manchester United, and even had time to sire a son who's also a pretty decent keeper. Number 6 is a guy named Dino Zoff. He won the World Cup with Italy at the tender age of 40. Who says football is a young man's game? Zoff was so good that he could probably have saved the Roman Empire. At the halfway point, we find Gianluigi Buffon. He's been around so long, he probably remembers when the goalposts were made of wood. Despite his age, Buffon is still keeping out shots that would make most keepers consider a career change. In fourth place, we have the man, the myth, the Lev Yashin. This Russian legend was so good that he's the only goalkeeper to win the Ballon d'Or. That's right, he beat out all those fancy outfield players to take home the top prize. Yashin was so good he could probably have saved the USSR. Bronze place goes to Iker Casillas. He's won everything from the Champions League to the World Cup, and he did it all while looking like he'd just stepped off a fashion runway. It's just not fair, is it? In second place, we find Peter Shilton. He's England's most capped player, and he did it all while wearing a pair of gloves that looked like they were borrowed from a gardener. Shilton was so good he could probably have saved the British Empire. And finally, at number 1, we have none other than Manuel Neuer. This German machine has redefined goalkeeping, making the position of sweeper-keeper fashionable. Neuer is so good that he could probably save the world from an alien invasion. And there you have it, folks. The top 10 goalkeepers of all time. Remember, this is just one person's opinion, so feel free to disagree, argue, or throw your own suggestions into the ring. Just remember, no matter how passionate the debate gets, at the end of the day, it's just a game, a beautiful, beautiful game.